Hello, and welcome to your meditation practice as part of the Open Heart Project. My name is Susan Piver, and I am delighted to give you meditation instruction. And we're going to sit today for 10 minutes, and we're going to start right now. So please take your seat and begin to get settled. You may sit on the floor with your legs crossed loosely in front of you on a cushion, but you don't have to do that. If you prefer to sit on a chair, that is fine. Just please sit with your feet flat on the floor. And as you begin to get settled, I want to just make a comment about something I said last week. And if you missed it, don't worry, because I'm going to tell you what it is. And that was suggesting that the biggest obstacle we can ever face in our meditation practice, number one, is not getting how the technique, or being too busy, or having lack of confidence in your ability to do it. Those are not the obstacles. The obstacle is guilt. Guilt over missing your practice, guilt over not being good enough at your practice, or just shaming yourself in any form. And I believe I've said this before, but no one really believes me. And I fall into this category too of not believing myself, because I find myself shaming myself all the time for things I'm not good enough at. And it truly is a terrible obstacle. And I'm going to tell you two things about guilt that I hope will be helpful to you. And then we're going to go right to our practice. And the first is that the Tibetan meditation master Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche means precious teacher, by the way, it's an honorific, gave advice to his students about what to do when they felt guilty. And he's a Tibetan meditation master, so worth listening to. He said, here's what you should do if you feel bad about missing your practice. You should feel terrible for 9 seconds, and then you got to stop. Just cut that. Really, he said that. That's what I heard anyway. And I also want to add to that it's actually not the guilt that is the problem. It's the moment that precedes the feeling of guilt that is so insidious. And if we could get rid of that moment, or dissolve that moment, guilt would not be a problem. So what happens before we feel guilty about something is that we experience a moment of doubt in our own basic goodness, a moment of doubt that who we are is basically good and worthy and decent. Most of us walk around not believing that. But when you do have a connection to your own basic decency and goodness, and I know you have it, because you wouldn't be trying to meditate. Something brought you here, some wish to improve something in your life, or some problem that you want to solve, or something that you want to make better. And that longing is the proof of your goodness. When you doubt that goodness, all sorts of difficulties can arise, but when you trust it, we tend to beat ourselves up a lot less. So how do you trust it? Meditation is the practice, one could say, of connecting with your own goodness over and over and over again. And here's why I say that, because we're not sitting here going, I'm great, I'm good. We're not doing that. We are noticing our mind, and if this is the first time you're practicing, you're going to get instruction in this in a moment. We're noticing our thoughts, and when we find that we're absorbed in them, we let go. And when we let go, we experience a moment of sort of freshness and openness. That is the goodness. So you could think, or test this out, you don't have to believe me, but test this out, that as we practice, that is what we are doing. We are practicing connecting with our own goodness, and it is beyond doubt. It doesn't need to be proved. The minute you let go of your discursive thought and that freshness arises, you see that it's always right there. So I hope that this is useful, and here we go. We're going to practice. So please relax Relax your body by giving your weight to your cushion or chair, whatever it is you happen to be sitting on. And don't hold back. Just plant yourself. In fact, planting yourself is a good analogy, and if you like, you can imagine that you're planted in earth up to your waist, and everything below is your root system, and it's holding you in place. And up from that, like the trunk and limbs of a tree, your trunk and limbs blossom. So there's a simultaneous sense of downward rooting and upward rising. Inseparable. Like your bottom half and your top half. The hands are palms down, just above the knee or at mid-thigh. And let the hands and arms and shoulders just relax a lot. And let the belly be very soft, which it already is anyway. So just relax your belly. Relax your chest, your throat, the whole front body. This is how we receive our world. And we are open, whether we like it or not. But we have a strong back to support us. The chin is tucked a little bit, so the back of the neck is long. And just take a moment to experience your own natural elegance. And grace. The mouth is closed because you don't have to say anything, which is great. It's good to be silent. So the mouth is closed, but the lips and teeth can be slightly parted. And feel all the muscles of speech relax. Breath comes in and out through the nose naturally, meaning there's no breathing technique, just breathing. And in this practice, the eyes remain open. And the gaze is cast down to a spot about 6 feet in front, or 2 meters if you're outside of the United States. And it doesn't matter what's in that spot. Just let your eyes rest there. We spend much of our day reaching out with our eyes to see all the various things we have to take in. But this is a chance to let your eyes rest while seeing. That makes sense? So the eyes are soft and the gaze is resting at a spot 6 feet or 2 meters in front. And just feel the eyes soften and all the muscles around the eyes, behind the eyes, if there are muscles there, and the forehead. Just let all that relax. And the crown of the head reaches up a little bit. Place your attention on your breath. Just notice your breathing. Let your attention follow the breath, coming all the way in on the inhale and dissolving all the way out on the exhale. Notice that there is a tiny little gap at the end of the exhale. A little moment of stillness. And then from that moment, the next inhale gathers and arises. And this is effortless. There's basically nothing you have to try less hard to do than breathe. It's happening, and you just go with it. attention riding in and flowing out. Let your thoughts be as they are. We're not trying to get rid of them or change them. Just let them be. And if you notice at any point that your attention has become absorbed in thought, completely, like you've forgotten about your breath, no problem. Notice that you've been thinking. If it helps, you can say to yourself, silently, thinking, let go. Let go. And notice that moment of freshness, a moment of clean slate. And bring your attention back to your breath. thank you very much for your practice. And I would like to say that if you are ever interested in taking the next step in your practice, practicing for longer than 10 minutes or without the introductory explanation every time, you can become a member of the Open Heart Project, which I really believe helps deepen your practice. It costs $15 a month. That sounds so cheesy when I say that, but I just want you to know about it, and you can find more information on my website.